Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be joining you with a very dear friend of mine who I've actually just met in the last, I would say, 6 months, but we've been communicating a lot on social media. And her name is Martine Cadet. She is one of the people that I trust 100% about her skills on social media. And I wanted to bring her into your space, whether it's on your phone or your desktop today, because we are going to be talking about how to gain more clients using social media marketing organically. And so we are streaming this to a few different platforms. So you might be seeing us on Facebook. You might see us on LinkedIn Live specifically, because that is one of the places that I have really gone into a deep dive, and also on YouTube. So welcome wherever you're joining us, and welcome, Martine.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Hello, everybody. So great to meet you wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. So good to see you. And by the way, if you were just on Instagram, Sandra and I were just talking to you, right? And so we appreciate you jumping on and taking on the invitation to connect with us here. And I'm excited to have this conversation with you, Sandra. We are going to have a great time. I look forward
Yeah.
to supporting you watching live right now, or perhaps the replay. And so really, really excited. Thank you.
Yes. Well, so Martine has a lot of great knowledge in the space of coaching, as well as she's got a very robust Facebook group called it's Content to Conversion, right?
Yes.
And then she's also got this Visualize to Create TV network that has, I think it started as a website, but then kind of transitioned into something else. So maybe we can start with your background. You've got a lot going on. So I want you to tell your own story.
Oh, thank you so much, Sandra. Yes, there's a lot going on. And if you are in the space of, oh my gosh, yes, I have a lot going on too. Listen, I can understand, and that's totally okay. And I love that you have a lot going on too, because the last thing we want is to just sit on the couch and do nothing, right? We don't want that. The internet is so amazing. And my story began with me falling in love with all the information that's available online. And it was back in 2015, sitting in my cubicle at work in corporate America. I loved the job. It was great. Let me tell you, I did well for myself. I can't complain. In fact, a lot of what I was able to accomplish in corporate America has been transferred into my business, specifically the structure, the follow-up, and, all of that good stuff is definitely something that I've picked up in my career in corporate America. But I got bored. I sat in my cubicle and I was like, 2% raise maybe, or what if they let me go? I'm going to let them go first. And so I just was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I fell in love with the internet for that reason, because I didn't go to the library. I went online, google.com. How do I start a business, right? And if this resonates with you, definitely let us know, because I know that's what happened to me. And I just had that burning desire, Sandra, to just do something and find something. And I didn't know how or what it was going to be, but I knew that there was way more than this annual review and this, bi-weekly paycheck saying this is how much you're worth. I knew there was more. And so my background, my love for social media primarily started when I got online, opened up my handmade jewelry line that I was selling. It was made out of t-shirt yarn. And obviously I needed buyers, and I was like, okay, I got to market. And mind you, Sandra, I went to college and got my master's degree, not in marketing, in culinary hospitality management. And I don't cook as much. But
I'm a horrible cook. I just want you to know.
I could make something good. So I want to let you know, when we do meet and we have our little brunch together, I'll make sure you're fed very well. I can do a little bit.
Okay.
But
I'm addicted to the microwave. So
listen, you have an air fryer. I cannot live without my air fryer.
I want one. But let me go back to you. So let's.
And so I was like, where am I going to get people to buy my jewelry? And my husband was like, do you know about Instagram? I was like, what's that? What's Instagram? And I was on Facebook just doing my thing as far as, connecting with friends and family, using Facebook to connect. But I was using my Facebook business page as well. And so, wanting to gain visibility in a way that we don't have to purchase our leads, or perhaps we're just starting out and so we don't have the referrals. That's my story. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not ready to invest in ads because I don't have the budget. I don't have it in me to support the inventory or whatever. I can't buy leads. And then I was like, I don't have any real buyers yet to be able to be referred. And so I got to do it organically. And so I ended up diving in, Sandra, trying to understand all the features available on Instagram and Facebook business page to get me out there. And sure enough, as I was doing it actively, consistently, the one account that was like, oh my gosh, we love your stuff was Facebook. And so 3 years into doing that, Facebook reaches out to me and they're like, we came across your Facebook business page. I'm like, say what now? And they're like, yeah. And we want you to click this link. It's an exclusive link for you to apply to become one of our speakers at our Facebook Boost Your Business event that we're having in your local town. I was like, what?
Okay.
I was like, okay, organic growth. I'm like, Facebook, I'm here. And so the rest is history. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, this is my thing. I love content. I come from a product development background in corporate America. And so was working a lot with design and Pantone chips and color boards and all of that good stuff. And so that was one of the transferable skills that I put in. And I was like, this is what excites me. This is my thing. And so rewind, sitting in my cubicle, excited, not knowing what it was going to be, and just responded to that desire, and everything started unfolding. And I'm recapping this just because for you watching, that's like, I know I want to do something, but I don't know. I don't know how. Don't focus on the how. Focus on the fact that you want to do something.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You want to do something. And so that's my background. And I love content since, and I help others today to understand how to gain visibility online and really truly build a brand that is a brand of integrity and truly show up purposely with every piece of content that they claim on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, so that they can convert and start that conversation.
Yeah, I think it's really remarkable. It's the spirit, the attitude, the motivation that you have to have inside. Nobody can give that to you. You have to have that. People can teach you skills. They can teach you, post at this time versus this time. They can, show you how to create content that is, attractive and gets people going, but they can't get you out of bed. Right? They can't do that part for you. And so that's one of the things that I truly admire about your story. I actually saw, there was a trailer, I think, on your TV network, and you are like in a bathrobe and like, I don't care. I'm going to do it. You have to tell me the story behind this scene.
Oh, wow. Well, you're opening the opportunity for me to share publicly. And for those of you who have been following me for a long time, you probably have already seen the episode that Sandra is referring to. And so that particular clip was not planned to be part of this whole TV thing. It's just that I'm always in content creation mode, and I always encourage my clients, and I'm encouraging you watching that, don't wait till you're like, oh, I have to post on Instagram to create. I encourage you as creative people and the ones that are the visionaries of our businesses, you want to constantly be on creation mode is what I believe. And so that day, something very, very crazy and special happened to me. And between you and I, you mentioned I have a robe on.
Yes.
I had just woken up from my bed. I even brushed my teeth and got a TV. And so I told my husband, take my phone, record this moment. Record this moment. And Sandra, I'm not going to let them know what it is. They need to watch the episode.
Oh, yes. You have to watch the episode.
You have to watch the episode. And so that's the story behind it. And then when I decided to create the content for this TV network where it's built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. The purpose of it all is to have a curation of people that either share their stories about how they've been able to build their businesses, or perhaps, teach us something about marketing and how to do, the right things as far as legal stuff about your business. Like that's going to be, it's becoming the hub for entrepreneurs. It's built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. And that's your resource to go to learn. And so, so that clip, I was like, what am I going to do with that? And let me tell you, when the universe has your back, when when you said, the why is behind, everything just aligns. And I was like, good thing I recorded this clip, and all the dots just connected. And so now you got to go watch it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just ping me or whatever. And even Sandra, she'll send you the link. You can watch the episode so you know what we're talking about here. But authentic content, and definitely something that is important when you want to grow your visibility organically.
Exactly. Well, so I actually met you through Facebook and your Facebook group. And so if there's anybody who wants to start a group and really have engaged members, this is somewhere you need to start, because Martine gives daily, inspiration, whether it's through asking you a question or providing you with just a statement that is kind of like, right to the heart of the matter. Sometimes you need to hear it. You should start there. And so I know that your engagement is really high in your group. How do you keep it high?
Oh, I love that question. And so it did not happen overnight. I know for whatever reason, all of us online, we are scrolling through our Facebook, Instagram. We're like, I want it now too. The 10K months, the 50K months, the Twitter, the whatever K months you want. And you want it overnight. And I'm not the one that's going to BS. And I'm going to tell you straight up, it does require you to show up and work. And so we're talking organic here. And so a year ago, when I opened up this group, it was as a result of a challenge that I had done. And 22 people signed up. Nobody actually took on my offer. And I was like, this sucks. I'm closing this group. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. And then I invested in coaching to understand what Facebook group communities were, what communities, were all together. Because here's the thing, the internet has tons of information, but once we're ready to do that transformation, we have to invest in someone that's done it, been there.
Sorry for the honking in the background. I'm on a busy street.
I think it's because they hear what I'm saying. They're like,
they're like,
yeah,
girl, I hear you. I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. And so I was like, I'm closing this group. And I was like, no, I'm not closing this group. I'm going to figure this out. So anyway, it took heavy lifting as far as me making sure that I stayed true to what I wanted my community to be. And that's what I want to challenge you and ask yourself, if you have a Facebook group right now and your pain point is nobody's talking to each other. Nobody, I'm posting, I'm showing up live, there's nothing happening. It's frustrating you. Been there, done that. Listen up. You need to ask yourself, what's the vibe that I want? What are the people that I want in this group? Be very picky as to who requests to join and who you approve, because the last thing you want is a bunch of people just to inflate your numbers, right? And they're like, I don't align with what you're posting, and they're not going to engage. And so how do I maintain it? Well, I make sure, Sandra, that I constantly remind the community what's in it for them. How do they have to behave? Because between you and I know that every single member of my Facebook group are probably members of tons of other groups. And the last thing I want is for them to feel overwhelmed, not knowing and not sure if they could post, not post, what can, because I feel that way when I'm in other groups. I'm like, I don't know if I could post. Not many times my post got declined, and I'm like, for what? It's so confusing sometimes. And in my community, I'm like, ladies, this is the deal. All right. This is what we do. This is what you can do. This is how you get clients in this community. I keep it 100. I tell them straight up, it's a community. And so I I'm of the mindset of making sure that as the owner of the group, I facilitate my community. I make sure that I show up to ensure that they know they can talk to each other, and I help them engage with one another. And I make sure that I position myself as the one that's truly facilitating the conversation, and letting them know. And so it's really addressing to the right members. You have to have the right members in the group. Otherwise, the stuff that you're going to be talking about, if they're not the right people, why are they going to engage? Right?
Yeah.
If they like Chick-fil-A and you keep serving them KFC, they're never going to engage. I'm just saying, you got to know your people, and you got to make sure you draw the right people so they can engage.
Yeah. Well, and that is a really big thing. I actually have a list of 50 different groups that allow you to post, except every single group has a different rule about posting, whether you can put a link in, or it has to be in the comments, or you can't put an image of your product. You have to put your picture of your face. So every single one is different. And I feel like sometimes that's a turnoff to people who really need help, right? And they really want to promote what they're doing to get the traction. So when you're thinking about yourself and your group, your network, your coaching business, how do you feel, or how do you strategize when you think about getting your message out? Like, what is your process?
Oh, my process is to make sure that I say no when I see that it's not because I was a yes woman in everything. Yes, of course. Yes. And I'm like, huh? No, this offer is great. You wanting me to speak at your event is great. Thank you for the invitation. But after looking at it, unfortunately, it does not align with the message that I have. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to bring value to your community. You asked me to go live in your group, but it's not going to be you asked me to co-moderate a clubhouse room with you, but I'm not seeing how you and I can get together and really serve the audience, because it's not aligned. And so I strategize like this, because it's making sure that my brand is front and center at all times to protect it, because building a personal brand, in my opinion, is all about making sure that you have the right strong network around it, so that way you can be positioned in another network, in an audience that's truly wanting your support. And so the strategy is, not every opportunity is a great opportunity. Don't go for the quantity, go for the quality. And, and because of that, when you are serious about growing your visibility on social media, be very careful where you are connecting. How many Facebook groups are you in? And you probably don't even know right now, because I was there. And because you don't know, you're not being strategic in showing up in the groups that truly need you. Make a list of all the groups that you're in. Start leaving the ones that you cannot serve, and start really focusing on the quality. Same thing on Instagram. Same thing on Clubhouse. Make sure that you're following accounts that truly you can bring value to or learn from. All right. And not go for the big inflated, oh my God, I got 5,000 members in my group. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. But if you're not able to serve them, if you're not able to show up and convert inside that community, I love a great party, but this is all we're doing this because we're building a business, and we're building a legacy. So my strategy is, remember your brand, remember your why, remember what your promise is for yourself and your business, and show up in the places that really want you. Right.
Well, and you make a good point. I actually do have a list of all the groups that I'm a member of. Yes, I think it's 380. And one day I just went in. I did a deep dive on Facebook groups, and I was like, okay, I could be a part of this. Okay, and then as time went on, people have invited me into their groups, and sometimes I really am just a listener in groups, and trying to understand, okay, well, what is this person about, and how are they going about about conducting their group. And so sometimes I'm just literally an observer, because I've gone into, different selling groups that have nothing to do with what I do, because I want to see, okay, well, this is not a part of what my brand is, but I want to see, what other people, how they navigate the space, because I think that being, I guess, well-versed in multiple spaces will help me then serve a broader community because of what I'm doing with my current build your brand business, which is College of Style. And not everybody is in the course creation space. Not everybody is in entertainment. Not everybody is a podcaster. And so I have tried to be a student that way. And I think that's beneficial if anybody is watching to, if you're going to go into a Facebook group or even creating a space where you have people come into your clubhouse space or whatever, be an observer to understand what you like and what you don't like about certain people's spaces. You can adopt some of the things that they are using. I read one of your comments about certain people using your strategies in your Facebook group and other Facebook groups. And I think I wrote you back and said that is a compliment. Roll with it and let it roll off your back. Yes. Because I think that a lot of times it's great when people adopt things, but it's also good when you see that they've adopted them and made them their own. That is one of the things that I feel like is really important, no matter who you are, what you're doing organically, is to make sure that your voice always comes through, that your authenticity is always front and center, because no one is you. No one can deliver the message like you do. No one has your story. And so that, I think, is really important when you're going into an organic space, because you're not looking at it as like a, hey, buy my product on a paid side. You're saying, okay, this is the relationship that I want to have with you. Oh. So have you had anyone in your group, because I know you've got a lot of successful people, kind of come back and say, this one thing that you said this one time was what changed my, flip the script for me? What would that have been?
Oh, I love it. And so it's happened in my group. It's happened on Instagram. It's happened on LinkedIn, where I've gotten messages from people. So on Instagram, I remember getting a message from someone as a result of an Instagram story that I had shared. And the person said to me, "Why are you always in my head?" I was like, because I'm building a relationship with you and I know exactly what's going on with you and why you need my support. And I'm communicating with you in a way that you understand. And just as if I was texting you and telling you, girl, I know that's your problem and you don't get away from it. And here's the deal. And she messaged me on Instagram. She's like, you always in my head, right?
But in a good way, right?
Right. On LinkedIn, this person reached back out to me because as a result of a video that I had shared, and again, it was about, sharing that authentic story of mine and saying, I got it. I feel you. I know where you're at or whatever it was. And she sent me a message on LinkedIn. She's like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm going through. I thank you so much for giving me whatever it was that I gave in that video. She's like, it spoke to me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, all of those comments, even inside my group, it's happened. I mentioned on Instagram, on Facebook, my personal page, it's happened. And the feedback is always, you're speaking to what I'm going through. This is exactly what I'm going through. And I'm like, I know. That's why I said it.
Well, I think it's really important because everyone, even back to what, your childhood, everyone has probably been told what they need to do to be successful. And your mom probably told you, your dad, whoever is like the support group in your life. And it's that one person that you come along, whether it's you or me or someone else that has, inspired them on the internet or whatnot, in their, colleagues, their boss, whatever, that says it to them again. And it finally clicks, right? And then you're like, okay, that's my person. That's the person that really gets me. And everybody has that person for them, whether it's, on social media or it's in real life, IRL, right? But you have to be able to go and be open about that process, because the people who keep closing it off are never going to have that aha moment. They're never going to be able to flip that switch and say, okay, today's the day. And, for me, I think every day is the day, like I'm like, okay, well, yesterday was the day for this. And then today is the day for this. So I think that it's really important for anyone who's watching to say, you know what, if I haven't had an aha moment, if I haven't had that one person that I really connect with, then maybe I need to ask, whether it's a colleague or a friend or a family member to maybe introduce me to someone who may be able to move myself forward, either business-wise, personal-wise, whatever it is, because I think that everybody has that person. And, it could be you, it could be me, it could be somebody else, but really it's about making that connection. And that's why I wanted to go live on LinkedIn too, is because I have been meeting so many amazing people on LinkedIn, and it's a little bit of a different conversation than I've had with people on Facebook. Facebook, sometimes the direct messages seem very salesy. On LinkedIn, everybody knows, like, you're on LinkedIn for business.
Yeah.
Like you're there for business. And so it's not necessarily frowned upon as much when you send somebody a message and say, hey, this is what I do. This is how I think we can collaborate. And they're like, sure. Instead of like, how are you in my DMs?
Yep. It's
right.
And you're bringing up a point that's very important, Sandra, in regards to converting organically is the fact that we need to understand each platform and how they work. Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned, and I love that the LinkedIn audience is ready to buy. They're ready to do business, whether it's buying or networking for a business, conversation. That's the mindset. Right.
Yeah.
My first coach I invested was from LinkedIn. Right.
Yeah.
I invested in him from LinkedIn. And so, but on Instagram, it's a different vibe over there. Can you close over there in the DMs? Absolutely. But the client journey is a bit different. Now that we have Clubhouse on top of it, we can make sure we have that funnel happening. And so it's important for you to be successful in making sure that you're creating content that's going to convert, is to first, one, understand and say, is my audience that I know that I can serve on this app? Question number one. And then question number two is, how are they consuming? How am I going to communicate with them based on how the platform is put together so that I can optimize? So we have to understand each platform. I love that you did that difference between how people interact on Facebook versus LinkedIn, and it's important to understand.
Yeah. And now there's so many different platforms to understand it, to be a part of. And it spreads a lot of people thin. So I almost want to encourage people to, really focus on the one that you're good at, and really hone in on those skills to really drive traffic, drive engagement, drive all of those things. If you're a Facebook person, because it's been around probably the longest, then go for that. If you're a Twitter person, if you're a Snapchat person, I have not invested myself in that, but I'm sure people can convert on it, so there's a lot of different places for people to really dive in. And I really think that you need to focus on one first before spreading yourself thin, because not everybody is an expert in every single platform, right?
I agree. And most recently, I decided to, break through the LinkedIn route again. And to your point, because I remember very early on, I was frustrated being on all the platforms, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I was broke because I was not focusing on the engagement. I was focusing on the creation of the content, and not the creation of the content is the first touch. Right. And I didn't have it in my mind, which is what I want to share with you. Watching that, once you create that content, that's the start. It's not the end. It's the start. And so you want to give yourself space to be able to engage, as a result. And so for me, I got super frustrated of having to take all my entire weekends pre-recording 50 million times this one video for my YouTube channel that ended up having 2 views after 3 weeks. And I'm like, okay, this is going to work. I can't keep doing this. And I decided to focus on Facebook. So I left LinkedIn. I left YouTube. I was still there. My account was still up. But I focused on mastering that one, Facebook alongside Instagram. It's just recently that I was like, let me go on LinkedIn, and now I can go live on LinkedIn, and just to go live. Okay, Sandra, and I'm like, Sandra, let's go live here. Apply.
I know, you're the one who sent me the link.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do this. And so, what, you have to give yourself a grace. You have to respect the
Yeah.
process, and, scale with precision is what I like to say all the time. And
Hmm.
once you master that one or two platforms, like for
Yeah.
instance, there's a lot of people that are doing very, very well with their business organically by using Clubhouse and Instagram alone, not
Hmm.
on Facebook, and they're converting like cray cray. And I'm like, that's awesome. So you
Hmm.
have to really, and then you have to align the platform with your personality, right? If
Right.
you're not the type of person like Sandra and I that are like, oh, we're streaming live on YouTube, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Facebook, all at the same time, because that's what we do. And you're like, I can't do this, guys. You guys are awesome, but God, please help me. I cannot do this. That's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Clubhouse is your thing, right?
Yeah.
Because all you got to do is go live with your audio. And so if you
Hmm.
don't want to be seen, but there are, and I feel like Clubhouse is also kind of like, I don't know what you think about that, Sandra. It feels like the audiences, people are ready to do business. Yes, they're ready to learn as well.
Hmm.
But it's a good space, just like LinkedIn in a way, to
Hmm.
have those conversations, those business conversations. Because I know for me, sometimes I go on and I'm like, I'm interested in not only learning, I'm just making this up about
Yeah.
Pinterest, but if I do find
Yeah.
someone that is definitely, showing up in a way where they know their, about,
Hmm.
I'm totally going to look them up and see if I could, find out about their services as I want to,
Yeah.
go back on Pinterest kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
very, very, very important to understand which platform works for you. Get good at it. If you're
Hmm.
frustrated right now, like you said, I totally agree with you. Step back. Don't feel like you're gonna have that whole, missing
Yeah.
out. You're gonna be missing out on stuff. You're not gonna miss out on anything. If
Yeah.
anything, you're gonna gain a lot more when you focus. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that that's a really important thing is that a lot of times people think, well, I have to be on everything because what if one goes down, and so be on three, have your accounts just in case, but really get good at one because, I had someone tell me a long, long, long time ago, in entertainment, I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to be an actor and a dancer. And they were like, get good at your dancing career and then parlay everything else. And it's the same with social media. I was, just doing the deep dive on LinkedIn with from January until now, and I have grown my following by 1,000 people, and that to me on LinkedIn is like what, because there's so many people who put up a static page and leave it, so for me, I think that it's really about, like you said, showing up and delivering content that you are seeing, because you can see in real time on different platforms what is hitting, and that is, it's really important, is the social listening, making sure that you're having a fair analysis of why it's hitting, because you might put something up and it might be like boom, 500,000 hits, and you're like, that's great, it was a picture of me on the beach, but why was it hitting? Was it because of the person that was in the photo? Was it the place you were at? Was it the combination? Like really having a keen eye for why things are happening. I think a lot of people say, oh, that hit, that's great, I'll do that again, which is good,
Yeah.
but people get tired of the same
Oh
stuff,
yeah, content
right?
fatigue is real. Content
Right.
fatigue is real.
Hmm.
Because I know that I get tired sometimes of accounts
Yeah.
that I follow, and I'm like, it's the same thing.
Same thing. Same
Can
thing.
we switch it up a little bit? This is a relationship. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's why we're creative. And if you're not there, this is
Yeah.
where you have to explore, investing in someone that can reformulate that message that you have
Yeah.
into a reels, into a video, into a this,
Hmm.
into a that. But it's the same message, right?
Hmm.
And so I love that you mentioned also, Sandra, that it's about making sure that you got the hits, but what worked? And so because
Yeah.
a lot of us, see,
Sorry, you hear that? That's the live part of LinkedIn Live.
I love it.
I'll mute my mic.
I love it. And so, yeah, look at what worked. And do you know how many times I repurpose my captions and I change the picture? Repurposing is my jam. And that's what I want. All of you watching, whoever's watching, repurpose. Because if it worked over there on LinkedIn, let's copy that caption, switch it up a little bit to address the Instagram people and say, hey, IGers, and then put that same caption, change the picture or use the same one, change the filter, post it again over there. All right. You know that, I don't know if you're familiar, if you're watching this, I know Sandra, you know this, and we got to talk about email marketing because in email, right? In email marketing, you can do the A/B testing, right?
Yeah,
the email, change the subject line just to see how many open rates. Listen, we're a business, which means that we need to know our numbers. We need to know our numbers. And so, A/B test your content. Pay attention. Don't just post just to check off. I posted on Instagram. I post on Instagram every single day. Mark Zuckerberg is not giving you a certificate for posting on Instagram every day. I'm just letting you know. He is not, okay? All he wants you to do is...
Hello, here's my certificate for posting on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, that's not it. We are posting. He wants you to post great content so people could stay on the app so that people could buy ads and be able to, make money.
Thank you.
All right? So let's focus on making sure that you have the right content because at the end of the day, I don't care where you're at. You need to make sure that that first conversion is, drum roll, please, email.
Yeah.
You got out that email, right, Sandra?
Exactly. And because, like my friend said, well, you were talking about, it's great to have a party, but my friend Nikki Delonzo said it best. It's great to be on social media in the party, but you have to take them home. And if you have their information, I know it's a little sexy, right?
I like it.
I don't know how many people we're taking home these days, but I do know we're both married. It doesn't happen. But I know. So, but I do feel like there's that aspect where you have to understand you want to bring them home for your party. You have to bring them to the house. And that's where you figure out, okay, are they a friend? Are they more than a friend? Right? Are they a business partner? Are they a client for life? Right? So you evaluate that kind of relationship. And sometimes you've started out the relationship thinking they're going to be your client. And next thing you know, they're your business partner because they have so much expertise in this other area. So and a lot of people get really sad. They're like, oh, but I thought I was going to be their coach. And it's like, you know what? You're better off knowing that they're in this category instead of keep trying to get them to be your client. Know that they're there and move on to something else for all the rest of the people that you can, build relationships with. And then exactly. And then focus on whatever it is that you're building with them in a different way. And so a lot of times I hear that, that frustration of, I was working so hard and they were going to be my client. And then they were like, no. And I'm like, that's okay. It's the same with email. If they unsubscribe, bye. Okay. That means that they didn't want your email. So what? There's plenty of fish in the sea and you have content that is going to speak to somebody else,
Amen. I love that. And, to your point, when we convert organically, primarily we convert in the DMs, in the PMs, right? In the messenger, wherever we are, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook. And so to your point, Sandra, I love that, is that what I want to tell you is be ready first. Be ready with all of it that you have available. Do you have a Facebook group? Do you have a freebie? Do you have your coaching service? Be ready with all of your packages and make sure that you have your products in your mind so that you can funnel that conversation and feel it out to see where it's going to lead best, but don't let them leave the DMs without you giving them something. Okay. If you realize, like you said, Sandra, that they're like, it's not feeling like she's going to want to invest in my coaching. Well, listen up. Maybe she's not ready or he's not ready yet. And they want to know you a little bit more. And, we met at the house and I took you home, but you're not going inside as of yet. And I'm not even giving you a kiss. I'm going to give you a kiss on the cheek. That's it. So what? Let's send them the link to the free Facebook group so they could come and see what's up, and then you nurture that. Don't let them leave without anything because you got a lot. That's why it's important. Like for me, I have one freebie. I have one Facebook group. I have, good, better, best. This is what I have. It's like going inside a store, right? And you see all those different choices, right? Okay, which one? Price point? I don't know, I'll come back. Oh, that's okay. You don't want to buy
Yeah.
today? Share your email so we can send you a newsletter for, coupons.
Yeah.
Don't let them leave without anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and you hear it again. I think it's the day. I don't know, whatever. I think that it's really important that, when you do provide that value to them, whether it's your complimentary, video training or your complimentary XYZ, that person will click on it.
Uh-huh.
Of course, because they want to know, okay, well, what does she think she's got that I need, right? Or once they click on it, they will share it with someone who needs it. Like maybe they're not into you, maybe you're not their person, but they might be like, oh, well, this person needs it. And you know what? I've totally neglected the comments. So I just want to show that this Shira, I think that's how you say her name. She said,
Oh,
let me help y'all with cooking. Yes. So I wanted to give her a shout out because I saw this. So we were talking about how I'm a bad cook. I'm not going to speak for Martine.
I can cook. I can cook. Thank goodness I have the air fryer. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. Well, so I'm just gonna. I think that I will take her up on her offer because everybody needs a little helping hand. I have a podcast called Sweet Bites with Sandra, and I talk about how horrible of a cook I am on almost every episode because I love other people's food. I have 2 young kids, and I can cook for kids. I guess pasta, things that are mild. You're not trying to give them too much crazy flavor because you know what, one thing to like hit and be like, oh no, that was a bad idea. So I digress. But I do want to end this conversation because we've had a lot of great, I think, advice from our team, giving people who are listening and watching, a way to start. And so where would you like to send people? I know on the screen we have your Instagram and Facebook. Which one would you prefer that people find you at?
Oh, just head over to my house online, martincadet.com.
Oh,
Yeah, because once you come in the house, I'm gonna bring you home.
oh, well, I didn't list that, but I will. Let me put it. I'll put it in the comments. So martinecadet.com. If you are looking for her, make sure that you check the comments for sure. And I just thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Sandra. I had so much fun, and I love every time we chat. And we're going to be doing this again. I know for a fact
Yeah.
you're coming on with me, and we're going to do this whole thing. And I definitely want you to go ahead and get your air fryer. And for me, I'm going to go ahead and take you up on the offer of streaming on multiple
Yes.
platforms at the same time. So thank you for that. I'm definitely going to look into that.
Nice. Well, if you want to find any of my links, I'm going to put up this page here, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can find them all there. I have a brand new website that is launching a membership website called College of Style. Join me over there as well. And thank you so much. Thank you, Martine.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm so excited.
Bye, everybody.